Welcome to everyone who is joining us tonight. This is our second IT Masters Charles Sturt Open Evening, as we call it. We'd like to have these just before every session to talk a little bit about what's coming up, what options there are available, etc. I'm hoping you can all hear us, but please feel free to chat to us in the chat session. There's no need to turn your cameras on if you don't particularly want to. We would probably ask you to not turn your mics on in this main room because we'll be doing presentations here. So this is the sort of the housework type of the evening. My name, by the way, is Shane Murphy, not IT Masters. And I will be the host for this evening. We'll be hearing from 2 or 3 different speakers. Chantelle, Hale, who on my view is to my right, and then Birt Edmunds, who is one of our students. Chantelle, you may know, is our CEO. Birt is one of our students who's currently close to completing his graduate certificate in cybersecurity. And to round out the evening, Jack Birt, who is the head of school for the business school at Charles Sturt University, will also give us some insights into the MBA that we jointly run. So the idea around tonight is for you to be, for us to be available to you essentially, so that you can ask questions of us, you can talk to us about what you're interested in doing, and at the same time, there's some presentations running if you would like to flip back in and out. Because of that, and I should say as well, we have 2 other brilliant ITM people here. Leif and Anna are both here tonight, and they will be in some of the breakout rooms, which I'm just about to talk to. So the idea about the breakout rooms is if you want to speak to somebody about something on a sort of semi-one-on-one basis, you've got specific questions that you want answered that may have come up in the presentation or more generally just about IT Masters, Charles Sturt and how to do things, we've set up 4 breakout rooms. And you'll see at the bottom of the screen, you should have a little thing that says breakout rooms there. They're available to you to just pop in and out of like you would in a normal open evening, go and visit people in the science faculty or whatever. In this case, what we have is breakout room 1 is where Anna is sitting, and Anna is our eligibility expert. Anna is there to be able to help you figure out whether your work experience and your previous study makes you eligible to study postgrad with us. And she can talk to you that at length, give you some advice on courses, how to structure which courses you have to get them done in the least amount of time and for the least possible cost as well. The other rooms, Chantelle and Leif will be hosting one, which is for sort of like admin questions about particular subjects, similar questions to what you might ask Anna because she may be busy at particular times. So feel free to flip back and forth between those 2. Jack will be hosting a room as well, and in that room you can ask Jack anything you want about CSU. I will preface it to say that Jack has not been at Charles Sturt for an extended period of time, so she may not know all the answers to all the questions you want to ask, but she certainly is a very good and experienced person that will be able to tell you a lot about the business side of the school. And the final breakout room is Birt that I just introduced before, who's one of our students, because I think it's always valuable to hear things from the person who's actually studying with us. And he can tell you how it is, essentially, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the fantastic. I'm hoping there's, some of the good and the fantastic and not too much of the bad, but that's up to Birt. So as I said, my name's Shane, and really my job is just to introduce everybody and to talk between the cracks. So tonight, the first thing I would like to do is introduce our CEO, Chantelle Hale, who has been with IT Masters longer than anybody else and knows more about what we do than anybody else. And she's going to talk to you about the IT Masters difference. How are you, Chantelle?
I'm good, thanks, Shane. Don't give away too many secrets by telling them exactly how long I've been with IT Masters, but it's probably too long. So I have a lot of this information just off the top of my head. One of the things that we love to brag about is that we have been Australia's leading provider of online postgrad IT education for 19 of the past 21 years. So I think in 2020, we had one university pipped us for a little bit and then dropped down immediately, and maybe it was early 2010s. we're pretty proud of this because we have been around for 23 years now, I believe, and I think it's really telling that we've been so high up on this specific little segment of the market for so long, and we think we do a great job here at making sure that we are up to date and accessible for students and available for people who are studying online who have other priorities, which I will get to as we go through. So you can see us there, Charles Sturt University. Most of Charles Sturt University's online postgrad IT domestic, and as I said, that is a small segment of the pie, is IT Masters. There is a little bit of Charles Sturt in there, but we work together to provide a qualification that we say has industry qualifications, sort of you learn about industry information and you at the same time get that academic information that is so important.
I
So
think
I'm going
I
to,
think what that also speaks to is the fact that we're specialists in online. If you look at all the other unis, they come and they go to a lesser or greater extent.
yes,
Yeah.
we've never taught face to face. I don't know how I do, but we definitely know about teaching online. So if we want to move on through, so one of the things we'll look at here is our students here. We've got, this is Lauren, who won the university medal last year, which is really impressive. And our main thing as educators is to look after our students, because we find that a lot of the time at universities, online students are sort of forgotten. So we make sure we keep in touch with them. We put a lot of work into helping plan study load and course. What's the best way to sit your course? What subjects would be best for you when? You can speak to very easily, call us up, speak to somebody who knows about the subjects that you might be studying and talk to them about when something might be due and whether you need a break or whether you could do two subjects and whether they'll work together to provide you with the best experience possible. And planning your study load and course, it takes more than just knowing what subjects are available. It can be what sort of assessments will I be doing and can I plan that out with my life? Um, we we have a brilliant group of students who most of them are working full time. They have a partner and kids, and they have other things. And one of the things that not every university understands about postgrad study, particularly online, is that maybe study is not your priority every single day, and that's fine. One of our big things is making sure that we're flexible with students, because in the real world, if you're working at a job and you can't get something done in a day, often workplaces will allow you to get extensions. So we try to work with you to allow that sort of flexibility for our students, obviously within reason. Our students tend to score quite well compared to other students, and they finish their courses more often and at higher marks, and they tend to finish them faster, which is interesting considering this is most of our students are part-time. You can drop down to one subject, you can take leave, life gets in the way. So it takes a while for most people to finish postgraduate study, but most of our students do quite well. So I really do think the fact that Lauren Veenstra here won the CSU medal, it is a very high honour, it is really telling in that often this medal goes to full-time students who studying is their main job.
I think the other thing about Lauren winning as well, sorry to jump in there, is that that medal, it's only just been awarded, by the way, for last year, and it's not awarded every year. And what it points to is not just academic achievement, it's for people who are involved in the university and do things around the university. So Lauren was a well-known mentor for a lot of students on the campus and participated in the student representative council and a number of other matters like that. So that when it came to the university medal, it's about acknowledging all of that extra effort that goes into every part of it. And it's good to see that an online student can be such a big part of a university that is spread over multiple campuses with multiple courses and different people as well.
Absolutely. So if we move forward a little bit, we have courses in lots of different areas. So you may already know our courses are broken into 50% what we call academic subjects. Those are taught and led by CSU mentors, academics, and then 50% what we call industry subjects that are taught and led by our industry mentors. We'll talk a little bit about them in a second, but all of these courses have that 50-50 structure. So we've got the cloud computing and virtualization. All of these masters have grad certs. So the Master of Cloud Computing and Virtualization, the Master of Networking and Systems Administration, and the Master of Business Administration Computing with specializations. All of those ones have grad certs. Then we have the Master of Project Management. This not only has a grad cert, but a grad dip as well. And then the Master of Cybersecurity that has a grad cert and will, in the future, we're looking at having a grad dip for that as well. If you don't know, grad certs are 4 subjects. So most of the grad certs are 4 subjects towards that lead to a master's. Grad dips are 8 subjects. So if you're doing, say, the Master of Project Management, you can start with the grad cert in project management, 4 subjects, do another 4 subjects, and that's a grad dip. And then our masters are 12 subjects. So you can start with a grad cert, which is a good way to test it out, to get a qualification while you're studying, and then work on into the masters. And then at the top there, we have that graduate certificate in computing career transition. We kind of call this a taste tester. It has all of our subjects available in it. You'll still do 2 academic subjects and 2 industry subjects, but it's an ability for students who aren't quite sure what course they want to go into to study a few things. Of course, if you are going to study this one and you think you're going to move into a master's, it's really good to speak to our admin team so that they can plan it out for you, because you don't want to finish your grad cert in computing and then have to do an extra subject because it hasn't been planned out right. Our admin team love to plan out these courses for people. So if you are thinking of studying that one, contact us and we can plan it out for you in the best way possible. Shane, if we want to, yep. So eligibility is a really interesting one, because there was this old school misconception that you had to have an undergrad degree to start your master's degree. And we try to make this easy for you. So for those of you who've been in the industry for a while, you can enter via work experience in IT or in another field. Usually through the grad cert pathway, which allows you to use that industry knowledge, because a lot of people who've been in the IT industry for a long time have more knowledge than somebody who's studied a bachelor, but sometimes universities don't love that pathway in there. And we have that eligibility form, which is a really useful way to find out exactly whether you're eligible, and a lot of people are, even if they don't know, but also to find out what credits are available. I'll talk a little bit about credits soon, but it is a really easy way to shorten your study time, but also so you don't have to study things that you definitely already know. Our admissions are processed in-house by the IT Masters team, and I think that's really valuable for people, because an admissions officer will contact you during that process and they will know the course you're inquiring about. It's not the CSU admissions, which do a great job, but the people that you speak to, they process admissions for so many different courses that they don't have that in-depth knowledge that our admissions team do, and will be able to help you map out a course progression plan that is right for you in your life, not for what's right for everyone. Just double checking if there are any questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat, because we'd love to answer questions. So as I said, you do get the best of both worlds. IT Masters mentors, we've got some amazing industry professionals here. They have been working in the industry for years. We design our assessments around what would you need to produce if you were dealing with this issue in the real world. Obviously, there's referencing, etc., that you'd have to do that you wouldn't have to do if you were, responding to an incident, a security incident in real life. But it is a university qualification, of course. And then CSU has so many great academics. They offer a theoretical grounding. They have that theoretical experience that can be really useful to students, especially if you haven't studied at a university before. But some of our mentors are CISOs at major Australian companies, or senior technical staff. A lot of them have worked with really well-known industry vendors, and they have industry qualifications. They know what they're talking about. while at the same time being able to tell you what is expected in the real world, in a job in these industries.
And they do specialize in great photos.
Some of them do. Some of them I'm just like, can we send someone out to take a photo for you? Which is a bit hypocritical of me because my photo is old. But one of the things that we found is really valuable for our students is we offer advice that is aimed to help you finish faster and find the most cost-effective study pathway. It's really important to us that students don't accidentally study a subject that isn't included in their course, so that they have to study an extra subject, or they don't sign up for the masters before doing the grad cert that might have a Commonwealth supported place. But even if it doesn't, it will lead into the getting an alumni discount in the masters. So it's really important to us, if you are thinking of studying with us, contact us and just find out the cheapest, easiest way to do it. You could just fill out the eligibility form and Anna will talk you through it. So we have a lot of credit available for our students. We get credit for industry certifications. So if your subject is based on an industry certification, you already have that one, you can get credit for it and not have to study it, which saves you the cost of studying it, but also the time. For prior university study learning, as long as there is enough overlap there, there is an ACS certification. So it's a really valuable arrangement here. If you've been in IT for a while and you take the ACS certification process, you can achieve 1 or 2 subjects credit into your course. So it's a 5 or 10 times return on your investment there, but also then you get that ACS certification to put on your resume. And then we have our free short courses. I'll talk a little bit about them on the next slide, but they're really valuable. And if you complete 3 of them, you can get 1 subject credit into a master's qualification or one of the IT Masters qualifications. And we are really keen to hear from you guys. If you want to find out how much credit you're eligible for, we have a whole process for it, and we will look into every single bit for you. We'll do that legwork for you. So if we move forward a little bit, we've got our free short courses, and I'm sure most of you here will have heard of these and know about these because they are how most people find out about us. We've got over 50 courses currently available because we do retire some of the ones that are a little bit older. If you're in IT, you know things age like milk, so sometimes we have to take something out and update it. We have over 620,000 short course enrollments over the last 10 years, which is really impressive. And it does mean if you join one of our short courses, usually if you're studying it live, you'll have a lot of other people studying it at the same time as you. This is 4 weeks of material, and they contain a wide range of topics. They can be from the very basics of IT to ransomware techniques, AI, other areas of cybersecurity, which is a really hot field. It's really good to try out some of these areas and see if you're not sure what you want to study, see what you might be interested in. And it does give you an opportunity to try out what studying with IT Masters is like, because these these short courses are often 4 weeks of our subjects. They're not as academically rigorous. They're not as time consuming, but they are the mentor who might teach that subject. And a lot of the material is taken directly from a subject just to show you what it's like. And it can help you, sort of get back into the study habit so that you're ready to study when the qualifications from Charles Sturt University start up. And as I said before, if you get 3 of them, you get 1 subject's credit into your qualification. If you are looking at moving from the grad cert to the masters, and say you start with the grad cert in industry computing, grad cert in computing career transition, it's worth talking to IT Masters first just to make sure that you use your credits wisely in these ones for the cheapest way possible, because you do only get 1 industry subject credit for the short courses. I think that's worth noting.
Absolutely. And we've just clarified that for Harry in the chat as well. I think it's also worthwhile noting that, we might sound like we're focusing on dollars a little bit, but I understand that that's very much an important part of the decision-making process. And when you're going to spend, you know, $40,000 or $50,000 on a master's degree, you really want to know that you're going to get your best value out of it. And we try and, you know, work with everybody on that. It's not about, you know, having a cheap degree. It's about having a degree that you've got through with the best possible arrangement to have the best way of, you know, getting through at the fastest
Yeah,
rate.
absolutely. And it's important to us that our students get value for money. And we part of that is providing a really good experience for the students, really good learning experience, and a really good experience just as a student trying to navigate administration. But at the same stage, the other part of that is to make it as cheap as possible.
Absolutely.
So we do have a whole range of career learning pathway. So we've got some free short courses that does the intro and quick learning. We also have, you can study industry certifications via IT Masters. So currently we've got the CompTIA and the Certified Ethical Hacker, but we've got more to come soon. And for instance, the CompTIA, that's the Security Plus one, isn't it, Shane?
That is right. Well,
Yep.
there's multiple ones. There's Security Plus, there's Pen Test Plus, there's I think 8 CompTIA certifications that we currently offer.
Yeah. So the Security Plus, I believe, is a certification that would get you credit into the cybersecurity fundamental subject. Certified Ethical Hacker will get you credit into IT 516, our certified ethical hacking subject. So these industry certs, if you have them, great, you've got credit. If you're interested in taking them, we do offer these sort of qualifications. So please contact us if you have questions on those. The other way, one of the other pathways is do a graduate certificate in your area and then transition in. And you can always, then you have that graduate certificate on your resume and you can say, I'm studying my master's, I'm getting there. Once you've got the grad cert, you can extend to a graduate diploma or a master's. And you can cash in your certifications for credit and or to get ACS certified. And then at the end, you can even do an MBA program with a tech specialization. So our MBA computing has, you can just do a general MBA computing, but you can also do MBA computing in cyber, which does look fairly, it looks targeted. So if you're working in cyber, it is a good way to sort of break through some of those management ceilings. And in 2026, a cyber internship program will be offered so that you can get that vital on-the-job experience as part of your qualification with companies that will often have ex-IT Masters students employed or in management. So that's for people who are just trying to break into that industry. Often you just need that one extra push, and internships is sometimes the best way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing about the pathway idea is that we've tried to suggest that, you know, we can be of help no matter where you are in your career, and everything sort of fits into everything else. It's a little bit like a matrix, if you like, because you can come back and do more short courses later on. You might not do your certs till early, you might do them early or you might do them later in your career, but then they can be cashed in for credit. And the ACS certification, I've got to tell you, is probably the easiest way to get a subject that has ever been invented. It's a 2 or 3 hour, you know, chat to the ACS about what you've actually done in your career. And if you've been in IT for a number of years, it's almost certain that you will get through and get certified. And that's worth essentially 5 or 10 times the amount of money it costs you to get the ACS certification. I'm always, to be honest, a little bit mystified that more of our students don't do it because it is such a good deal.
Yeah. All right, so we've got let our students have the last word, and we will be moving on to listening to our student have the last word. And I promise we're not paying him; he's just here to talk about the student experience at IT Masters. But we've got 2 quotes here from Patrick and Keelan talking about how flexible these courses are and how much administrative support there is. And obviously, it's really important to us to have really good mentors and subject coordinators running our subjects. But we also do think the support we offer to students is really important for their experience because it allows them to smoothly sit the subjects without having to worry about, oh, I couldn't get through to someone and I don't know who to contact or anything like that. We are designed for working professionals who have other things to focus on. We really do think our IT Masters experience is unique. There are no other universities in Australia that offer the same combination of 50-50 uni and industry subjects, and that have that same sort of entry by work experience with such a broad range of credits and the free short courses and the industry certifications. I think we've really focused on the student outcomes here, and we're really making sure that the students get the best experience for the best price possible.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Chantelle. That was great. And feel free, by the way, I maybe didn't explain before that you can just pop into the breakout rooms whenever you like. You just click on the breakout rooms little icon at the bottom of the screen and then select which one you would like to join. And you can also pop back out of them if you want to at various times. I think Anna is sitting in one of the breakout rooms at the moment. She may even be talking to somebody, but I'm not saying please don't listen to our speakers, but I am saying that you can try and do a little bit of both as well. So now it's time to move along, and I wanted to introduce Birt Edmunds. Brett's one of our students. He will tell you a lot more about himself because I only have come in contact with Brett in the last 2 or 3 days, to be honest. But we thought it was really good to have somebody along who is a current student and has been studying for a short period of time. So they've been through some of the things you're going to experience, and he's not quite out the end yet, but he's on the way. How are you, Brett?
I'm fantastic. So I'm not getting paid for tonight?
I heard you saying you got loaded chips. We might be able to reimburse that.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'm Brett Edmunds. I'm currently studying. I'm on my way to do my master's in cybersecurity at the university. So a little bit about me. I'm full-time employed. I'm in the medical industry. I'm a chiropractor, so I manage 2 different practices, working 5 days a week, usually finishing at about 9 o'clock at night time or even later. Um, there's also all sorts of ancillary time that you have to spend doing business administration, commitments, patient letters, etc. But somewhere along the line, I got this idea of starting studying again to try and, I suppose, exercise my brain and see what else was out there. So I embarked on this journey of trying to decide what I wanted to do and got pushed along the direction, or rather found the direction towards cybersecurity. Um, and that put me in touch with Charles Sturt University and IT Masters. Not initially. Initially, I had applied at another university and was when I got started with it, was told that it was an online delivery and not a full online course like Charles Sturt, which is one of the fundamental things that Chantelle was talking about in the beginning, and I think it's incredibly valuable to reinforce that. The courses that Charles Sturt, that IT Masters deliver are definitely in your own pace, at your own time. You can do whenever you want, as long as you meet the criteria of the assignments and assessments that are met for you. So even with the time poorness that I have, I'm still able to do and meet all my commitments with ease. And I haven't had to ask for an extension yet, even though we are offered extensions at every step of the way through the kind generosity of the lecturers and the administration staff. So I went from frantically trying to find an online university and got in touch with the IT Master staff, and they were incredibly helpful. They really do invest a lot of personal time helping you with every single step of the way, which is it's a little bit daunting in the beginning because it's all new and you don't understand the terminology and everything like that. But they really take the time and they help to describe different learning directions you can take, the path to graduation, the implications of doing it one way as opposed to doing it another way. And in my case, because I've just finished registering for my second year of study now on my way to my master's, they've had to do it all over again because I didn't remember what it was like in the beginning. I didn't pay too much attention, and it was with the same patience and the same help and the same friendliness as what I got in the beginning. So, excuse me. So one of the things about the RT Master staff, they are incredibly helpful, always friendly, always patient. They always return your telephone calls and answer your questions to the best of their ability. In fact, most of them will go out of the way, as I've experienced this week, to try and see if they can help you to do whatever you want. I'm still in the middle of registration, and literally they're taking care of everything for me. The other thing which I find being a current student really helpful with IT Masters and Charles Sturt is that the structures are quite flexible. You can do different grad certs on your way to your masters, or you can do your masters, or you can choose the different packages that actually interest you to be able to get there. It's not 100% customizable, but it's definitely a lot more customizable than a lot of the other courses that I've seen in universities that are offering online type of delivery of this type of stuff. When you get to CSU, if you wouldn't mind just changing the slide, please. The CSU staff are incredible. The lecturers approach every single lecture with the utmost amount of enthusiasm. They engage with you. They try and get you to be involved into to pay attention to personal experiences. A lot of them have got a lot of personal experience. And once again, just going back to what Chantelle spoke to about the short courses, because I had studied for over 30 years, being a mature student, well, maturing student, I did some of the short courses that were offered by Charles Sturt, and they were incredibly helpful. I got to experience some of those same lectures as being my lectures for the first subjects that I did, and it was a comforting feeling to see that the same people were doing the same stuff and offering it in exactly the same way, through everything that enthusiasm, patient in their delivery, detailed in the instructions, and always there to help you if you needed anything. The other thing, which was very, very important, is just clear communication. At every step of the way, you have a course outline in every single subject that you do, and that offers you, it's like a Bible for every subject that you do. Everything that you need to know and everything that you're going to be doing is contained inside that course outline. Dates, marking rubrics, what the assessments require, what every single session that you're doing online is going to do. So it's really, really great to have something that you can literally plan your life according to and know that it's going to be delivered exactly like that. Along the way, I've encountered some interesting things at Charles Sturt. The university has transitioned between two different management packages, and the lectures really have been put under strain learning the new Brightspace environment composed to what they were using before. I think it was Interact 2, which I actually experienced a little bit of and enjoyed it better than Brightspace, but they've really been professional in how facing difficult tasks and transitioning some of the stuff over to the new system. Once again, they've been impeccable. They really have been professional in how they've approached that. In the classes, there's such diverse class structure. It's so interesting to see and listen to perspectives of other people, sometimes halfway around the world, giving their 2 cents or speaking about their experience or anything like that. That's something which is really, really enjoyable. I've also noticed that the courses cater for different abilities. Some of the people in the class don't have I wouldn't like to say don't have any, they don't have a lot of computer experience inside some of the more intricate things that you are required to do. And the lecturers definitely take the time and help them. They sit there and explain things through. It's not babying you, it's helping you find the direction that you need to go and the path that you need to take to get to the end. So it's not a case of somebody's going to do the work for you, but they'll help you find the way that you need to go to get there. And then also the other thing is, well, I've mentioned this before, but a lot of the discussions are structured according to the industry, real life examples. The lecturers all give real time, real life examples of exactly what it's like out there so that you don't really have any surprises eventually when you get out there. And then the other thing, which just along the way I found incredibly helpful, the last little bit on that list, is that the IT master staff are always available and always checking in. You'll get an email that'll say how things going. Did you know about this? This is what you can do if you want to have an extension. They're always there to pop a head up and see that if you're okay, and then leave you be if everything's fine. So honestly, I don't know if there's any real good time to start studying. It's just a decision that you have to make and some of the sacrifices that have to come along with it. But I can honestly tell you it's probably been one of the best decisions that I've made. And I've been very lucky ending up at the university because of how it supported me along so far.
Do you mind if I ask you a couple of things, Brett?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we love to hear all that stuff that you're saying. It's fantastic news to us. And I think what you were saying there before about how we're there to help you along without holding your hand is
Yeah.
really important, because I don't know if you remember, but when I was at school, my teachers always used to say to me, "Oh, it won't be like this at university. Nobody will help you. You just have to find your own way." And that was a really big thing that you had to get ready for at university.
Yeah.
But we try, I think, to create an environment where we're helpful without being, smothering or whatever you might think along the way.
Yeah, a lot of the things that you do typically put you in a little bit of a deep end. They take you out of your comfort zone because like doing the masters, how you answer questions, the referencing that Chantelle was talking about, APA 7, everything like it, is definitely not what you'd normally encounter in standard studying. For instance, like I do continued education every year for my profession, so you don't get exposed to things like that. the Charles Sturt staff and also the IT Master staff, when they answer some of the questions, don't hold your hand and do it for you, but they give you the direction that you can go to actually discover it by yourself. And in doing that, I found it's actually become a lot more helpful. So it's not a case of just put your hand up and ask for help the whole time, because they're not going to do it like that. But when you do get stuck and they realize that you need a little bit of help, they're always there to offer the encouragement and just give you that little nudge in the right direction so that you know what to do.
Fantastic. We should be paying you. How have you found interaction with your peers, with other students, and in the groups and things like that? Has that been really helpful or not? I could be putting ourselves out on the limb here. How's it going?
I'm a little bit antisocial, I think, because I spend my whole life talking to people every day, But during the lectures, the chat groups tend to go quite mad, and it's always very amusing and very nice to see that the interaction is quite amicable. I mean, the guys have a good time in the chat groups. They get serious sometimes, but there is decent open communication. I haven't done any group assessments yet or any group projects yet, which I'm grateful for.
And you probably won't be doing them.
Thank goodness, because those end up being an absolute schmozzle. But what I have noticed is that the discussion groups, and when you have assessments, there'll be an open discussion about that assessment, and somebody can go in at any time of the day and ask a question. Say, for instance, I can't find this. Does anybody know it? And there'll be so many people that will offer help and say, yeah, this is where you can get it from, or even share it directly. So the communication amongst the students is really, really good.
Oh, that's really good to hear, because I think one of the things that is frightening for people is going into online study is you're just doing it all by yourself. And it's nice to understand that there is that sort of chat stuff going on. We always hope it's happening. And I know our lecturers and mentors do see it happening, but for us standing back a little bit.
There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek discussions that go in the background that are very amusing to listen to. So there's a lot of things that go on in the background, which is good. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming along and giving us some of your time. I know it's very valuable and limited. It's fantastic to hear, but if anybody would like to ask Birt some more detailed questions, or just, about specific things you might be thinking of, he will be available in one of the breakout rooms, which has got his name on it. I think it's breakout room 2 or 3. But by all means, go and have a chat, and Birt can give you the down low on what's going on. But yes, by all means, anybody who wants to go to any other breakout rooms, go along. But again, thanks very much for coming along tonight, Birt. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. If anybody wants me to go to the breakout room now, just drop a message in the chat and I'll meet you there.
Great idea. Thank you. Now it's time to hear from Professor Jack Birt. Jack, I will not give a detailed introduction to, because I think you've got some of that stuff on the slides, but welcome. And it's really nice to have you with us here tonight for the first time.
Thank you, Shane. And can I just say, I thoroughly enjoyed the first 2 presentations, and it was great hearing from a current student. So Birt, really enjoyed hearing your insights. Thanks for that. And the loaded chips, the loaded fries do sound yummy.
I can't promise I'm going to share them with anybody tonight.
No. Next slide. Thanks, Shane. So I thought I'd just start off and give you a bit of background to myself, my position at the university, the business school, and then, of course, getting into the MBA with those IT specializations. So I am new. As Shane said, I started towards the end of January this year. And as head of the School of Business at CSU, I'm based at the lovely Port Macquarie campus, which is so beautiful. I love living in this part of the world. I have, as you can see there with my background, I've lived all around Australia now. Academia teaching has given me wonderful opportunities. But all my teaching over the years has been in accounting and IT. So I don't know if there's any accountants out there who are looking at swapping over to a career in IT, or IT people perhaps looking at seeing how IT and accounting comes together. There's a lot of synergies there. And I feel very lucky to have had a background in both the IT and the accounting. And as I said, I started off teaching high school. I moved into academia, and then moved to Canberra to the ANU and did my PhD there in financial accounting. But then moved back to Melbourne, moved to Queensland, and started quite a few research projects, which combining both the accounting and the IT. And then up until January, I was at University of Western Australia over in Perth. And it was there that I got quite involved in developing IT programs for the business school. And these programs were largely in business analytics. So that's just such an amazing growth area. What I love about business analytics is that it is multidisciplinary. So it does cross over into supply chain, into accounting, into finance, into IT, economics, marketing. So it's one of those great foundation subjects. And we had a major in it, and we had a successful Master of Business Analytics program, which we got up and running a few years ago. So I was very excited when I came across to New South Wales and to take on this role, because I just see so many opportunities going forward in business and in IT, and I'm going to talk about some of those tonight. Thanks, Shane. Next slide. So where I just wanted to give you some insights. A lot of this has sort of come from various projects I've been working on, experience, working at the university institutions, working with industry. But we all know how important a world of technology is. It is paramount. You know, and you really can't be sort of someone in today's world who doesn't want to use any technology. Obviously, it's really important in everything we do. But, you know, I think we still have to appreciate that obviously it's important to have skills in technology, but a lot of what we do is still human-led. And I think, you know, I know in a lot of the professions in the business school, particularly in accounting, a lot of prospective students are concerned about where jobs might be for them in accounting, in bookkeeping, those types of areas. But you know, we do know that technology will obviously change a lot of the work that's going to be done, but it's not necessarily going to replace all of those jobs. And I always look at it as it's going to make those roles more exciting. It's going to enhance those roles. It's also going to give us an opportunity to focus on different aspects of the business. And so that's what we've been talking about, and that's what industry is talking about as well. So obviously AI is something to be embraced, not feared. And so that's, again, something we really need to communicate. We know the future of business is going to feature a lot of younger generations, current Generation Z, very important. And we need to work with this generation and other generations, of course, and learn off their skills that they actually have. We mentioned before hackers and some certification in that area. Really important to acknowledge and to take every step to protect organizations. So that's another area, a cybersecurity area, which is going to be, it is really important. It's going to continue to be of great importance. I like to think of technology, though, combined with sustainability as well, because we know sustainability is part of business. We have the Sustainable Development Goals, and a lot of them center around education, the future economy, and there's an IT focus there. So that's really important to acknowledge the Sustainable Development Goals and be up to date with those as well. So the other thing I wanted to mention about business degrees in the future is not just obviously having great technological skills, but also, and this is something that I have heard it mentioned tonight, but I think we really do need to just mention it again, are what we call the transferable skills. And the transferable skills are also known as behavioural competencies. Some people refer to them as soft skills, but I don't really see anything soft about them. But they are so important and go hand in hand with, obviously, any of the technical skills that you learn in your degree program. But also here I'm talking about communication, and we have a course, a subject with communication in it as part of the Masters. Professional skepticism, so applying a questioning mind, particularly important with data, with big data. Intellectual curiosity, always be curious about anything that you have in front of you. Being adaptable, and of course, teamwork. How important is teamwork? I've always also talked to my students and mentioned that they don't need to be a full-on expert in really any area, because there's so many different software out there. That's not entirely necessary, but you do need, obviously, a good understanding of the technology, how it works, how it creates opportunities and efficiencies in using that technology. Next slide. Thanks, Shane.
I was going to interrupt there when you talk about the communication subject, because that is famously the subject that everybody says they don't need to do, don't want to do, and it's one of the core subjects. But when they actually do it, the sort of comments we get back from that are, it changed my life. I need to get everybody in my business to do it. It is quite a funny subject. And if you're interested, there is a blog post on our website about it. It's called MGI 521 Professional Communications. And it is really, there's a bit of a chat from the mentor who developed it and all of the stuff he went into. So it's really worthwhile having a bit of a listen to that before you do that subject. But sorry, I thought I'd just do the advertising, because that's my job.
No, and absolutely. And, and I think a lot of that sort of misconception comes about because people, would think that, well, I know how to speak. I've presented before, but they don't realize exactly what it entails. And as you said, the difference that it will make for them with their future jobs. So I just want to talk a little bit about IT careers. So, the type of areas, type of positions, and I've got some nice dollars there as well on another slide. But as you can see here, these are some of the top jobs at the moment in this area. So data science, data analysis, AI, cybersecurity, software developing, blockchain developing, digital marketing, machine learning engineers, and I'll talk a bit more about machine learning shortly, robotics, and information security analyst. So thanks, Shane. And here are some of the current, I just got this off a couple of job sites, Aussie dollars this afternoon. So, and, these keep going up and up. So there's sort of a base. So you've got your CIOs at 375,000, chief information security officers, 360, change management, lots of different roles in change management, cloud architects, data architects, business analysts, machine learning engineers, cybersecurity architects, software development, and network engineers. So they are very, very healthy salaries. I might just give a little anecdote here. I have a very young cousin from a very young aunt, and he's mid-20s. And he is basically IT engineering programmer, and he has been able to carve just a wonderful work-life balance for himself. He works for a company in Melbourne. They love the work he does. They said to him, you can work anywhere in the world on whatever time. You just need to complete your tasks. And he told them he was going to move to Whistler. So he's been living out of Whistler, skiing during the day. Then he does his IT job at night, and ticks all his boxes, and he's just going from strength to strength. So that's something else about some of these positions. Once you've got that experience, the opportunities are just there. So it's just incredible how you can really have that balance. And not all professions lend themselves to this type of lifestyle. Thank you. Thanks, Shane. Next one.
Indeed. I think I'm in the wrong job.
Yeah, I know. So on to our MBA, the computing MBA with specializations. So you've probably gleaned from what we've already been talking about earlier that it is combining management and obviously the preparing for industry certifications, for IT governance, IT quality management, IT service management, and project management. Thanks, Shane. And I've just really just got a couple of things there highlighting the essential subjects. And the nice thing about when I read through these subjects is how they do align, obviously, with the stuff I've already been talking about and also the careers in IT. So we've got project management, contemporary management, strategy and planning, applied IT ethics, very important. You know, when we start thinking about security and ethics, they go hand in hand. There's your professional communication subject that Shane was talking about, and a capstone subject in emerging technologies and innovations. Then we've got the really exciting specializations. So there are a couple of other subjects that you do as well, in addition to the essential, but then you've got your specializations in cloud computing, virtualization, cybersecurity, networking, systems administration, and project management. Thanks, Shane. So what I just wanted to include, just to sort of get you thinking a little bit about where some of these jobs might take you once you are qualified, once you've done the program. So there's two that I recently read about, and I'm always finding some new examples that I can use in the classroom. I can use at events like tonight. So this one I picked up on a flight, reading one of the magazines. It involves another university, and it's all about counting flamingo populations using AI. Thanks, Shane. And so it involves UNSW, and basically what they're doing is they've found a way to actually count for flamingos using AI. So, I mean, we can apply this sort of technology in any country, but this study has found that in this region, they have, I won't say approximately, because they reckon the technology is able to give an accurate figure of 532,197 flamingos. And what they did was they used machine learning to estimate those numbers in the first place from 3,715 photographs taken from a small plane, and obviously at whatever that height was, and a speed of 175 to 195 kilometers per hour. So you wouldn't think it was possible, but they were able to actually take all those photos, and then using the technology, they were able to control for overlapping photographs on the margins and teach the computer to recognize each individual pint dock as a flamingo. So I have heard of similar usage, and there's another example which we're going to go to now, which is counting stock using drones. So drone technology, and you can see this picture here has a nice picture of a drone, and we've got cattle there below. Next photo, next slide. Thanks, Shane. So again, it's a similar thing. We've got the drone, which is basically just taking pictures, recording stock numbers, and there's software called Sky Count, and basically it's one drone operator He's flying over, taking those pictures. It's having no harmful effect on the actual livestock at all or on farm operations. And as I said, very similar to the flamingos, but where we're seeing the efficiencies, and obviously we always associate IT with efficiencies, is that normally this would be a 2 to 3 person job with a lot of errors. And if there are errors, we need to go back and do the whole thing again. And from an audit perspective, a lot of money for that, a lot of resources, but this is just a 1 person job, 1 drone operator. And what the drone operator can do is to zoom in on different footage, and just to confirm that the actual spec is an animal, and also that it is breathing, that it is alive. So that's something else just to make sure we take into account. As I said, 100% accuracy, and helps the AI to continue learning, which would improve AI count accuracy going forward. So that's just 2 examples, which I just thought would be nice to sort of finish off with. Very happy to talk to people about our programs, where the business school is going to be going with all of this. But I really want to see a lot more business analytics in the programs. And as I said, making sure we are also developing your transferable skills, behavioural competencies at the same time. Thanks, Shane.
No worries. You could easily see with that drone thing where they could extend it to being a fence checker. And, imagine running that along the 3,000-mile fence, the longest fence in the world, making sure it was all up to spec.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Jack. That was really interesting. And it's
Pleasure.
great to see some of those AI things too, because we will be talking a lot more about AI in coming months. We will have a short course on AI coming up later in the year, at least, if not some other things. That sort of concludes the presentation part of the evening. I think we can open up the general chat to questions if people would have questions now, or if you want to specifically get into the nitty-gritty with somebody and have a one-on-one or almost one-on-one conversation, then by all means join one of the breakout rooms. But anybody who's got a chat that just want to get some of us to answer, please bung it in the chat now. Did I say chat then or question? But yes, if you would have a question for us, please bung it in the chat. And we will give everybody a few minutes to sort of have a think about that, come up with questions, maybe want to go to a breakout room. If there's any troubles with the breakout rooms, please put a note in the chat and we can push you along if you haven't been able to get there. But I think in sort of, closing off that section, I think what a lot of people don't realize about our MBA program is just how different it is, and how it is really, it's designed to suit IT professionals who are already coming from a skill base and may not necessarily have a degree in that area, but gives them a chance to get an MBA and also to improve their skill base and their technical stuff at the same time, which is unusual for an MBA, isn't it, Jack? Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah. Not always the case. So, and I think you put up something before that the IT Masters MBA is, there's many MBAs out there, but they don't always combine the specializations with the IT.
Yeah, there's certainly lots of MBAs. Obviously, cyber is one of our big courses as cloud networks, and I'm not seeing a lot of questions coming up, but I'm hoping that people are popping across to the rooms. Is there feel free to bung things into the chat. Otherwise, we probably we will probably sit and wait for conversations to finish in the chat for quite another few minutes. But I'm just wondering if there's anything else. Have you found working at Charles Sturt, Jack? It's a new experience for you you're in Port Macquarie, is that right?
Port Macquarie campus, look, absolutely loving it. Fantastic. And again, technology, IT, most of my staff are spread all around New South Wales. So I spend my life on Teams or Zoom, and Yeah, and it's so different because I'm just so used to face-to-face meetings, and now basically every single meeting is using the technology and just loving it. It's absolutely fantastic. Very efficient way of doing things, but we do go literally from one meeting to the other most of the day. So it's just making sure we're putting in time for the loaded fries during the day.
Absolutely. And I think somebody's waiting in the
room.
Yeah, in the room for you. Matt wants
Okay,
to have a
I'm
chat
going to
to
go
you.
in now.
But
Thank you.
yes, I will try not to just blather on mindlessly in this main room here while we wait for all the conversations. There are about sort of 7 or 8 or 9 people in the various rooms having a bit of a chat. But I am open to any questions that you want to ask here, and Leif can come in and out as well to answer stuff as we need to. I'm interested to know, also feel free to put in the chat what your sort of interest is. Are you interested in, progressing to a master's degree over the next year or two? One of the things that we try and do in our processes when we're talking to people, because we have course advisors, is that we're not here to push you into doing a course tomorrow. Our belief is that most of the people that come and chat to us are interested in doing our courses, and at some stage in their life plan, they will get there and do it. So our job really is to try and figure out how to help you achieve those ends. And that's really what it boils down to. That's why we focus a fair bit on, mapping out your course so that the costs and the timings work for you. Working out, what's the best subjects for you to do up front. Trying to just make sure that those sort of things are taken care of a little bit. We're certainly not a pushy organization like that. It seems like Matt's gone to the other room just before you got there. Jack, I can see that you're there. I was also going to ask you, Jack, just one thing about, you talked about the business analytics courses that you've done elsewhere. I know that business analytics introduction is one of the biggest free short courses that we've done. I think we offered it back in 2016. It's still on our website on the free short courses, of which, as we said before, there's about 50. But I think we've had 15, 20,000 people do that course over the years.
Yeah, look, I mean, I would encourage everyone to do an intro to business analytics. Particularly, I mean, it is something which I said is multidisciplinary. It's a really nice foundation for a lot of further studies in that area. Yeah, I designed the Introduction to Business Analytics course at UWA, and I made sure I had a little bit of Tableau in there. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Tableau, but loved using that visualization software. Love the ability of being able to combine just a whole lot of different data, different sources, live feeds, and use it in a way for students to, again, build their communication skills. Fantastic. So, yeah, so we had a bit of that in there, and obviously also Power BI, another one with Microsoft. And but what I love about that sort of course is the importance of developing skills in Excel. If you don't already have Excel skills, really important start for understanding the analytics. So yeah, no, excellent. So I really want to have specializations in the business analytics with the areas that I've been talking about tonight. So in accounting, in finance, in supply chain management, economics. There's really nice analytics links with all of those disciplines. So, and it's important that graduates in the workforce have a good understanding. As I said, you don't need to be an expert with all the different software, but having an understanding of the power of it is really important. I might try and get back in and see if I've got someone back in there. So I'll check back in and then come back out again.
No problems. So also the next session is coming up, and there's something that we've been wanting to talk about tonight but haven't mentioned as yet. As some of you may know or may not know, and we spoke about a little bit earlier, IT Masters offers a certain number of certifications. At the moment, primarily CompTIA ones. We are about to launch tomorrow, so this is an absolute sneak preview on it, that we are going to offer one free CompTIA exam voucher to anybody that has decided to enroll as a new student in the coming term, I should say, which is the one that the intake ends on the 21st of May. The reason we're doing that is obviously we would like to see more people in those courses. They also fit in very well with a number of the subjects that are there. For example, Security Plus, as Chantelle explained before, relates to ITI 581, Cybersecurity Fundamentals, which is running in that term. And the terms you may or may not know are smaller intakes. They only have a small number of subjects, and there are only, somewhere between 5 and 30 people in the subject. So some of our big subjects like ITI 581 can have 100, 120, 130 people in the big sessions. Whereas if you go in a term session, you can get into it and have a much more personalized experience and a conversation with the mentors as you're going along. So it can be a really good learning experience. This year also, we've decided to offer ITE 535, which is penetration testing. And again, there's a CompTIA certification, Pen Test Plus, that goes along with that. So there's at least a couple of ones that are sort of related to the subjects that are in that session. But as I said, anybody who is interested in starting and joining us in term 2, as we call it, which starts at the end of May, we are prepared to offer a free CompTIA Plus CompTIA Plus exam voucher. And there's about 8 to choose from. It's on the IT Masters website store, which I think Leif bunged into the chat earlier on, but I will get the URL and put it in again. You can have a look at them all. They're worth retail costs around about $550 odd. They're valid for about a year, and I think we already offer a discount to students, so that brings it down to about $380, $390, something like that. But if you got one for free, that would be one of the little special offers that we're doing. We've never done anything like that before, but we thought it might be something nice to try, and we have a small number of them to give away. So first in, first served, essentially, for that. So I just thought I'd put that out there in the chat tonight. There will be some terms and conditions. You would only be eligible to get it once census date had passed and you're actually really studying, so to speak. But apart from that, and you have to be a new student to that course at the time. So we're happy to be doing that this year, and we'll see how that goes. Does anybody else have any questions? We still have a few people in the chat rooms, I think. Chantelle, I see you've come back. Are there people still in the chat rooms?
There was no people in our chat room, so we thought we'd come back and see if there was any questions that we could help with, or at the very least help you vamp while
maybe
you
they're
answer
sitting in the
questions.
waiting room. Do you want me to try and put them in?
No, it says not joined, so I think it was anyone who's jumped in there, but
Right.
who is
Yeah, I joined one of the chat rooms and jumped out, and it was showing me as not joined there. So that would be one of the numbers there. But just, yeah, shout out to Leif and Anna, who both helped me out a lot. Thank you very much for the presentation. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks,
Hey,
Sergio.
you're welcome.
Is there anybody you still want to talk to? We can push you across if it's not.
I got to say, between Anna and Leif, they answered everything for me. So they did a really good job. I think I kept throwing questions and they kept getting answered. So I couldn't trick them at all. They got everything for me. So I really appreciate it.
No worries. They are a big part of our brains trust, I will say.
No
Much
worries.
appreciation.
And don't forget, everyone, sometimes questions will come later. You just give us a shout on, I think in the chat there, or just go to our website and you can always email or call in with anything that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's a really good reminder, especially if you can trick up our admin staff, great. We want to hear it.
I tried and failed. So
Valiant effort.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on. We did this late last year and the chat rooms worked perfectly. For some reason, they're just not working tonight. I don't know what it is. Probably a button I didn't
think
tick.
it's worked pretty well for some of them. I
Right.
think you can jump into them and it just keeps the memory that somebody was in there,
Right.
possibly.
Right. Excellent. Well, if there's nobody really chatting in the chat rooms at the moment, I think we have met the needs of everybody who, unless somebody has a late last minute question, we will probably sign off for the evening. I will give everybody a chance to say something. Thanks, Jack, for putting your email in the chat as well. You may regret that.
Just very quickly, can I say something, everyone?
Yes.
I just wanted to thank everyone, and I do apologize. I had to join a bit late. Is that going to be repeated, anything event like that, so I can rejoin next time again?
Yes, the events will be repeated, but also the recording of this, I should have mentioned earlier, will be put on the IT Masters website under information sessions, and it will also be on our YouTube channel.
Lucky I mentioned that now.
Yep.
Absolutely. And also, if you have any questions that might be answered by our admin staff or by somebody at IT Masters, absolutely call us and we can hopefully help out.
How do I join the breakout rooms, just for everyone else's information as well, if that's okay?
In theory, you should just be able to click on it and enter. There's something going on where they're not coming through. I think Anna said only one person could join at a time. That wasn't our experience last time. So as I said, I think I may have done something wrong with the settings. So you should just be able to choose it and enter. Other than that, thank you very much, everybody, for coming along. It's been great to hear from you and speak to you. Dennis has a question.
No, it wasn't.
You can unmute Dennis. Darren, sorry. Was it? Yes. I just did see a hand up, that's all. Okay.
It's probably just me doing the clapping hands rather than putting a hand up. So.
No problems. Okay. Well, having said all of that, I thank you very much to our guests tonight. A particular thanks to Birt Edmunds, who has given us his time away from his business. Like yourselves, he is working full time and has a family and a million other commitments, and he has managed to find some time to study along the way. So thanks very much, Birt, for coming along tonight. Really appreciate it, mate.
Thanks. It was great being with you guys.
Excellent. And also to Professor Jack Birt, who has also been here tonight and has given us a great presentation. As I said, you can get all of those presentations. The information will be on the website tomorrow. Thanks to Chantelle for, as always, giving us the lowdown, and to Anna and Leif for making sure that all the stuff I forget about goes into the chat or is covered in the questions. So with that, we wish everyone a good evening and have a fantastic day ahead tomorrow.
Thank you, Shane.
Thanks,
No
Shane.
worries.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.